Hi everyone and welcome to this video. As you ended up here, you probably know that Microsoft introduced a set of hardware limitations for Windows 11 when it was first released that would prevent it from being installed on older hardware. Fortunately, there are ways to work around that, and as Microsoft released a new major version of Windows 11 called 25H2, I will show you in this video how you can remove these limitations for that latest version and perform a fresh installation of 25H2 on unsupported hardware. There are multiple scenarios that might apply to install or upgrade to Windows 11 25H2 depending on your starting point. To make things clear, I created 3 separate videos covering each of these. This video is, as I mentioned, about performing a fresh installation of Windows 11 on the latest version, 25H2, when running on unsupported hardware. If you would already have Windows 11 on the previous version, 24H2, you can use a different method, covered in the video for which I will put a card here now and for which you can also find a link in the description. If you are still on Windows 10 or any earlier version of Windows 11 like 23H2 or 22H2, a third method is required, for which you can find a card to that video here now as well, and also a link in the description. You can also find a step-by-step written out guide for each of these scenarios on my blog, jensd.be, for which you can find, as you might have guessed by now, a link in the description as well. Windows 11 theoretically requires your machine to support secure boot, have a TPM 2.0 module, and your CPU to be on the list of compatible models. Fortunately, it has been possible since the beginning to work around these limitations, and so far, unsupported hardware has been able to run Windows 11 without any issues. Performance is pretty good and similar to Windows 10, updates are working fine, and all in all, everything works just as you would expect. What does require some additional attention is that with each major update, as was the case last year for 24H2 as well, the year before for 23H2, and now as well with the latest version 25H2, the methods you can use to skip these hardware checks during installation or while upgrading do change a bit and need to be done manually. For this video, I'll be using my Dell Optiplex 9020, which I also used in the past to test and play around with Windows 11. This machine is about 10 years old now and is equipped with a 4th generation Intel Core i5 CPU. It does not have Secure Boot enabled and it does not support the TPM 2.0 requirement. In other words, without any workarounds, we should definitely not be able to install Windows 11 on here. Running the PC Health Check application confirms us that this PC is for sure not compatible with Windows 11, at least not without those workarounds. To do the fresh install, we will also need a USB drive of at least 8 GB, and as a first step in the process, we will prepare that one to make it a bootable Windows 11 installer. You can prepare this USB drive on any other Windows machine. It doesn't have to be the one where you will be installing Windows, and that machine does not to be yet on Windows 11 either. One thing that I do need to mention here before you upgrade is that since version 24H2, Microsoft started to rely on a specific SSE 4.2 CPU instruction called POPCNT. This is a real hardware limitation. Unlike the requirement for TPM 2.0, Secure Boot, or the previous CPU support limitations, this means that CPUs that do not have this instruction built in will not be able to run 24H2 or the new 25H2. The bad news is that if you would have such a CPU, your system will no longer boot anymore after upgrading. The good news is that your CPU needs to be over 16 years old for this to be the case. For Intel CPUs, for example, anything that is an Intel Core CPU or newer, which was introduced back in 2008 already, or for AMD, about everything that got released after the same year, does have support for that instruction. So, unless you have a really old CPU, you should be fine. If you do have an older machine that doesn't support the POPCNT instruction and would still like to run Windows 11, you should not upgrade beyond 23H2. Now, before we rush into creating that USB drive for a bootable Windows 11 installer, let's clean it up first. Although this step is optional, it could prevent some problems with leftover settings or weird partitioning on it. To do so, first insert the USB drive in your PC, then start disk part by pressing the Start key, typing disk part, and pressing Enter. Once this part is started, type the command list disk and find your USB drive in the list. By using the size column, it should be relatively easy to identify your drive. In my case, the USB drive is disk 1. Then we need to type select disk and the number of your USB drive in the list, so for me, select disk 1. And finally, we can clean up everything by typing the clean command followed by pressing Enter. Everything has been completely removed from that USB drive now, so we can close this part. As the drive is now completely empty, we now need to reinitialize it before we can use it to create the installation media. We will do this using disk management, which we can start by pressing the start button, then typing diskmgmt.msc and pressing enter. In disk management, we see that same disk 1, which is our USB drive, so we need to right-click on it and then choose New Simple Volume. Click through the wizard that comes up, leave it to use all the space, let the wizard assign a drive letter, and give the drive a volume label which you can recognize. Then finish the rest of the wizard, and after a bit of patience, this should create a volume and format it as we instructed. That was a bit of extra work, but at least we now have a well-prepared USB drive, which has the letter D in my case. And we are ready to get the Windows 11 25H2 installation files on it. The easiest way to proceed now is to use the media creation tool, which you can download from Microsoft's website. So let's open our browser, navigate to the Download Windows 11 website, and get the tool from here. At the time I created this video, there unfortunately was a known issue running the media creation tool on Windows 10. When starting the tool, it would show the Windows logo and then just disappear instantly. There is a good chance that this issue has been fixed by now. Alternatively, you can create the media with a tool like Rufus, for example. If you try to create the installation media from a device that is already on Windows 11, like I'm doing here, this problem shouldn't be there. Once the tool is downloaded, let's go to the Downloads folder to start it. In the tool, after accepting the license terms, you can choose a different language if desired. Then click Next and choose for USB flash drive. In the next step, select the drive with the volume label that represents your USB drive, then click Next once more and wait patiently for the required files to be downloaded and copied to the drive. This can take some time. It mainly depends on your download speed and write speed of the drive. After some patience, your USB drive is now fully prepared and can be used to boot from and perform a clean installation. As our drive is ready, let's use it to test and do a fresh installation. As I mentioned, the USB drive can be used or reused for different machines as well, not only the one where you created this drive on. Let's insert the USB drive in the machine where we want to perform the installation and then let the system boot from it by using the boot menu. On my Dell machine, this can be done by pressing F12 multiple times immediately after powering up the PC. For other brands and models, the key to use for this might be different. Next to F12, Escape or F9 are pretty common as well. In the boot menu, we get another confirmation that Secure Boot is off, so without workarounds, we for sure would not be able to install Windows 11 on here, but we already knew that. Let me select the USB drive and then press Enter to boot from it. This will launch the Windows 11 installer from the USB drive. After a bit of patience, we get to see the Windows 11 setup dialog. Click Next here after selecting your language, time and currency format. In the next screen, select the correct keyboard layout and continue to the following screen. At this screen, before continuing, we need to add a few registry keys to work around the hardware requirements. That can be done by pressing Shift F10 while at this screen. This should bring up a command prompt. In the command prompt, start the registry editor by typing regedit and then pressing Enter. In regedit, navigate to HKey Local Machine, System, Setup. Then, on the Setup folder, right-click and choose New Key and give it the name labconfig. In labconfig, right-click and choose New dword 32-bit. Give the dword the name bypass TPM check. Then repeat the process and choose again New dword 32-bit, and this time give the name bypass secure boot check. Then double-click on each of these variables which you just created and set the value to 1 in order to enable them. This is how it should look like. Make sure you did this in the right location, double-check the names, and don't forget to set the value to 1. If you got this right, we can close the registry editor and then exit the command prompt as well. Back at the Select Setup option screen, select I agree everything will be deleted including files, apps and settings, then click Next. If asked here, enter your product key if it wasn't automatically detected, or click I don't have a product key, then select the version to install. As you can see, the installer detected that this machine had been activated before and Windows Home was selected. Just for clarity, this method will work equally fine if you want to install Windows 11 Home or Professional, depending on which activation key you have available. It could also be that you don't get the option to choose a version in the step. This means that the installer detected an existing key and automatically selected the matching version. In the next screen, select Location to install Windows 11. We need to select where we want to install. Here, I deleted all old and existing partitions one by one, then selected the unallocated space on my SSD and click Next. After the last confirmation, just click Install and wait for Windows 11 25H2 to be installed on the drive that you selected. If all goes well and a few reboots later, you should eventually end up at this initial setup dialog, asking you to select your country or region. If you have your PC connected to the internet and you're okay to use a Microsoft account, you can just continue here. If, on the other hand, you prefer to use a local account instead, or have a machine which is not connected to the internet, you need to go through an extra step. Otherwise, you cannot continue without internet or that Microsoft account. To do so, open a command prompt in the same way as we did before, so by pressing Shift F10 on the keyboard, and then in the command prompt type start space ms-cxh local only, then press enter. This will trigger a pop-up that will allow you to create a local user for this installation. Enter the desired username and password and continue. If you didn't do this and skip the online user requirement, connect to the internet and log into your Microsoft account when asked. Eventually, we still need to set some additional privacy settings. And then we finally end up at our fresh Windows 11 25H2 desktop on unsupported hardware. Let's start here by double-checking that installed version in Settings, System, About. As you can see, we are still on unsupported hardware and the installation of 25H2 worked as expected. WinVer shows us the same information. So it looks like the installation was a success and we're indeed running 25H2 successfully on unsupported hardware. After checking, the system also got activated with the digital key as used earlier. One last thing that I do want to cover as well, which I saw coming by a few times in my previous videos, is related to Windows updates. As with the previous versions of Windows 11 and different workarounds before, this is just working exactly as it would be on supported hardware. As you can see, updates are already being found and installed just fine. The only thing that you might need to take care of, most likely in a year or so, when the next major release is out, is that you will probably need to manually push your machine to that new version. I'll definitely follow up on that and will keep you updated on this channel. That was all for this video. I hope this will help you to extend the life of your machine. If you have liked this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Let me know how this worked for you or if you have any questions in the comments, and make sure to subscribe if you like these kind of videos and want to stay informed. Thanks again and hope to see you back here soon.